Hollywood stole the greatest lawman in American history, changed his race, sold it back to you as fiction. And for 90 years we believed them. Let me tell you about the man they erased. January 12, 1910, Muskogee, Oklahoma. They buried a U.S. Marshal with full honors. Hundreds attended. The newspapers called him the most feared lawman in the West. His name was Bass Reeves. 23 years later, 1933, a radio show debuts in Detroit. The Lone Ranger, masked hero who rides a white horse, never misses a shot, and brings justice to the lawless frontier. The writers were in Detroit. Bass Reeves' obituary had been reprinted in papers across the country, including theirs. Coincidence? Let's look at the evidence. Bass Reeves was born into slavery in 1838 in Arkansas. His owner was a state legislator named William Reeves. During the Civil War, Bass escaped. Some say he fled after beating his master in a dispute. Either way, Bass Reeves ran. He ran to Indian Territory. He lived with the Creek and Seminole tribes. He learned their languages, their customs. For years, he survived in the most dangerous territory in North America. When the war ended and slavery was abolished, Bass Reeves emerged fluent in multiple native languages, an expert tracker, and one of the best shots anyone had ever seen. In 1875, Isaac Parker became the federal judge for Indian Territory. They called him the Hanging Judge. His jurisdiction covered 74,000 square miles of lawless wilderness. He needed deputies who could survive it. He hired 200 men. Only one was black, Bass Reeves. Let me give you the numbers. Over 32 years, Bass Reeves arrested more than 3,000 felons. He killed 14 men. Every single one was ruled justified self-defense, and in 3 decades of gunfights, he was never wounded, not once. Think about that. 32 years, 3,000 arrests. Never shot, never stabbed. His methods were legendary. He spoke Creek, Seminole, and Cherokee fluently, which let him gather intelligence other lawmen couldn't access. He was a master of disguise. He'd dress as a cowboy, a preacher, a drifter. He'd go undercover for weeks to catch a single outlaw. And his trademark? A white horse. He always rode a white horse. Here's the story that proves he was real. In 1902, his son Benjamin Reeves shot and killed his wife. Bass Reeves was assigned to bring him in. Think about that moment. Your son commits murder, you're the law. Bass Reeves tracked his own son for weeks, arrested him, brought him back to Fort Smith for trial. Benjamin was convicted, sentenced to life in prison. Bass Reeves never spoke publicly about it. He just did his job. Detroit, Michigan. The Lone Ranger debuts. A mysterious masked lawman rides a white horse. Master of disguise. Show becomes a phenomenon. Movies, comics, lunchboxes. The Lone Ranger becomes an American icon. But the writers never credited their inspiration. They never mentioned Bass Reeves. They just took a Black U.S. Marshal's life story, made him white, put a mask on him, and copyrighted it. Then, in the 2000s, historians started digging. They found the records, the 3,000 arrests, the 0 wounds. The Lone Ranger wasn't original. It was based on a real man, a black man, who did everything the Lone Ranger did, except he did it for real. Hollywood saw a legendary lawman and decided he'd sell better as a white man in a mask. They weren't wrong. The Lone Ranger made millions. Bass Reeves made history. For 90 years, most Americans didn't know his name. Now you do.